Welcome to Fierce Encouragement. This is the podcast where we tackle life's struggles with boldness, wisdom, and some practical tools. Now, my name is Mark Walker. I'm a life coach. I'm a meditation instructor. I'm also your guide to navigating the messy middle between where you are and where you want to be. So here at Fierce Encouragement, we blend modern science and timeless wisdom to help you master your own mindset, to cultivate that inner balance in your life, and also to take those courageous steps towards your goals and projects. So whether you're a leader, a new leader, maybe a learner, or just somebody who's ready for some change, well, this is your space for some real talk and some powerful insights and some fierce encouragement to help you live with purpose and confidence. Thanks for being here. Quickly, before we start today's episode, I wanted to invite you to take the next step in your own personal growth journey. If you're inspired by what you're hearing today and are ready to get unstuck, bust through doubt, get some clarity, take meaningful, consistent action, I'd love to offer you a free clarity call. Now, this isn't just any call. It's a focused conversation where we can dig into your biggest goals, see your challenges, and identify those opportunities. If coaching has been something on your mind, or you're just curious about how it might work, this is a really good chance for you to explore without any pressure. So here's the deal. Fill out the application in the show notes. I'll personally review your application, and I'll get back to you to schedule that call. But here's the other part of the deal. I only have space for a couple more of these this month, so if this resonates, please don't wait. I look forward to seeing those applications, and I really hope that today's episode is something transformative for you. Okay, enjoy. I really do appreciate you taking the time to listen to the podcast. And today's podcast from Fierce Encouragement is titled Breaking Through Doubt. Is coaching really worth it? So quickly, to introduce this idea of breaking through doubt, is coaching really worth it? Now, have you ever thought, maybe you've had an interview with a coach or talked to somebody that does coaching, and honestly, I did this probably about 10 years ago with some of the first coaches I worked with, but after having a meeting with them, I found myself saying, you know what, coaching is not for me. This person is a lot different than me. I'd probably doubt it the whole time. I'd probably second guess what they're saying the whole time and probably not verbalize it, kind of hide, within the conversation. Well, I just wanted to say you're not alone. I do hear this all the time, oftentimes after the fact, after I get to know people, after a few sessions, or maybe even a year or two. Honestly, I get it. I think it's natural to doubt the coaching relationship. In fact, I think it's probably a good sign that you are making wise choices, not to just sign up with anybody that comes along. Even as a coach, I have questioned those investments in my own growth, wondering if I'd get that investment back, if I get enough value out of that time with a coach or that time with a mentor that I was working with. But honestly, when and if I stuck with it, I found that I did really need it. And it's almost just showing up for yourself and being prompted to care about the things that the coach is helping you bring to the forefront in your life. So just to quickly preview this episode, I want to talk about that internal objection around doubt, around coaching, around getting help. I want to explore why this doubt exists in our mind and how it might protect us, but how it also might be holding us back. I want to share some real success stories from my clients and show you and give you that opportunity to see how coaching can make a difference in your own life, your own work, and your own life projects. And finally, I wanted to share a tool that I'm calling the Doubt Audit tool. And this will help you listeners evaluate whether coaching or any next step in asking for help is right for you. So let's dive right in. So why is doubt a form of resistance? Well, I think this is the key insight. Doubt and that mental ability to put in a blocker, I think it's often a way we protect ourselves from discomfort or failure, or maybe kind of stepping out from the crowd. That is key. When we see our own doubt, and it could be about anything, not just about working with a coach, but it can be about filling out that resume to go after that next position. It can be about taking on a new workout program. We protect ourselves. We want to protect ourselves from that discomfort or failure, or maybe standing out and being ostracized from the tribe. One quote that I really love by one of the great Stoic wisdom writers, Marcus Aurelius, is this, quote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." Doubt is often about our own internal judgments about the value of something outside of us. It can be that relationship with our partner. When we start to doubt that relationship, and I imagine most of us have been there, when we start to doubt that relationship, we can feel how that changed the relationship. When we mentally judge it and doubt it, and maybe it's warranted, and oftentimes when we just don't connect with people, when we're not having a deep relationship, doubt is good. But in the case where our growth, our transformation is concerned, I think doubt is something where we listen too much to the internal judgment and don't search for the value, the external value of coaching or a relationship that might help you grow. What is the value of a relationship that helps push you to new limits and transformative projects and methods in your life? One of my favorite clients that I worked with this past year, Michael, when I started first working with Michael, he openly admitted to me that he wasn't sure if it would be worth the time. And honestly, after a couple sessions, he started to warm up to the idea. And after our 7th session together, he came back to me and said something to me that really stuck. And I wanted to share it with you. He said this: "This small investment of time and money makes the other 99% of my month better," unquote. He found more balance in his work projects. He found more mental balance in the way he kind of used his mind during the day. He showed up for his family in ways that he never did before, helping around the house and kind of taking on some of those chores and projects while his significant other went back to school. He also made the investment back into his workouts, which really helped him find more balance for himself mentally and get his energy back going. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the value of the process of coaching. So one of my favorite coaching authors, and I've been fortunate enough to hear him speak a few times and connect on some of his calls, Michael Bungay Steiner. He wrote the book called The Coaching Habit. I love this quote from him, and it's very pithy and simple, but coaching isn't about giving answers. It's about helping you find your own. Coaching isn't about giving answers. It's about you, helping you find your own. Such a distinction. Sometimes people approach coaching and the doubt might come from that place of, number one, they aren't familiar with what coaching is. Number two, they might have had some coaching experience, but I'll be honest, there's a lot of crappy coaches out there. They don't know how to create that space for their clients and elicit from them the things that they really want to get better at, kind of seek out their superpowers and helping them find and locate them and then show up more often with their superpowers. But it's not about like eliciting advice. That's consulting. And most of us don't need life consulting. We all have our own inner consultants. But coaching isn't about just giving you answers and consulting and advice. It's more about helping you find your own answers. We need to create space as a coach. We do that when we help clients reflect, when we hold them accountable, when we help them, encourage them, give them some reflection time and some space and validate them, hold them accountable to what they're saying in previous sessions. We can see, again, from the point of view of the coach, and the client. We see and feel that growth. Things that are hard to do are really difficult to do alone. A coach kind of gives you that reflection, that accountability, that space, that encouragement. And oftentimes, it's a really important relationship. I find that the relationships deepen over time in that clients feel really supported in their projects. So the return on investment is that, like you get out of it what you put into it. I know that's kind of a cliche, but I find it's very true looking back at the last 10, 12 years of my own coaching and then that of the coaching I've helped offer and give to people. It is really about creating space for reflection and accountability and facilitating that growth. It isn't about just giving advice. So again, coaches against crappy coaching. If you're not finding that in your sessions, I think it might be different or might be wrong. Another success story of a recent client I had came to me as well. His name was Chad, and he was facing a really tough decision about his new career, a new role in his career. He felt really a lot of inner confliction, felt kind of like stuck, that there was no clear answer to go through this. Literally, I remember spending a couple sessions working through the mindset of just being caught, like he couldn't get out. It was like a dam blocked up. But through our sessions, he gained clarity on how his opportunity aligned with his long-term vision, how this new opportunity about a new role aligned with his long-term vision. He ended up telling me in later sessions that the work we did together gave him real confidence, probably for the first time in his career. I remember he said, real confidence to step into his new role fully. So I think it's really important to reframe doubt. Number one, doubt is good. We're going to have doubt. But doubt doesn't mean something isn't right all the time. Doubt does not mean something isn't right. It's often a sign that we're stepping towards something new, something challenging, and maybe something very valuable in our evolution and in our own personal growth. Again, it could be in a relationship, it could be with a career change, or it could be when we're taking on a new workout program or something of the like. So reframe doubt. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It's often just a sign that we're stepping towards something new and challenging. The next thing I wanted to kind of touch on and offer you as kind of like a tool at the end of this podcast is what I'm calling the Doubt Audit. So the Doubt Audit is simply a way for you and us to unpack our doubts and to get clear and figure out whether they're based on reality or an untamed or unruly fear. So the first thing I would ask you to do, and if you're listening while you're driving, just save this for later, but grab a pen and paper or grab your phone, and I would love for you to list out every doubt you have about coaching or any other decision you're avoiding now. So write it down. Step 1, write it down. List out every doubt you have about coaching or any decision that you might be avoiding in your life right now. Number 2, I would like you to ask, what's true? So when we ask ourselves about each doubt, we can kind of start to separate the fact from the storyline or narrative that might be in our head. So step 2 is ask yourself, what's really true? Step 3 in the Doubt Audit is flipping the script. Let's reframe our doubts as questions of possibility. So, for example, instead of saying, coaching won't work for me, and kind of maybe saying to that to ourselves in our own mind, we could ask ourselves, what could coaching help me discover about myself? Instead of, I don't have time, ask yourself, what's one way coaching could save me time? And I'd really like to tie that last point in this last part of this podcast, the Doubt Audit, is to share another tool that I had from a great client of mine in years past. Her name was Sarah. She came to me for coaching during a really tough period. She was juggling grief from a death of a parent, and she also had relationship challenges in her family. And past that, she was also really struggling with work and kind of anxiety after she shut down at night, just kind of always going back to the computer and trying to finish something, a lot of anxiety, struggled with sleep. But through journaling and doing some reflection tools with Sarah, she found clarity and strength to really start showing up for her family. And she felt that clarity come from these systems that we set up for her, some habits that I helped hold her accountable to. So her transformation came as she found more structure and boundaries in her life. She later told me that, quote, "These tools gave me the space to process my life and work and move forward," unquote. I think we could all use that space. I think we could all maybe take the time to look at our doubt, do this audit. Number 1, write it down. Number 2, ask what's true. Number 3, flip the script. See what we could reframe those doubts as. And I'll share that doubt audit, that simple 1, 2, 3 in the story notes as well. But I think it's really powerful. I've seen it in Sarah. I've seen it in other clients. When we start to kind of create more clarity, we find that the strengths that we have come forward. We create those boundaries. It's almost by saying no, we start to work on what's really important and what's of high value to us. So to kind of recap and go through the end of the podcast, I'd like to just reframe it here. Doubt is normal. Doubt is how our minds protect us. But doubt doesn't have to stop us. Coaching isn't about erasing your doubts. It's more about giving you space to grow. And even while doubt is present, again, it's a good quality. But let's not let doubt dominate our thoughts. So if we're kind of having that resistance to coaching and asking for help, I think it'd be really good to reframe that doubt is normal, and coaching isn't about erasing doubt. It's about giving you space. So to conclude and to wrap up here, I really appreciate you sharing your time with the podcast again. But I wanted to invite you to take that one small step today towards exploring what coaching might possibly do for you. Here's the deal. I only have a space for a couple more clients this quarter, maybe 3, but that's intentional. I only want to give my full energy and attention to the people I work with one-on-one. So if something in today's episode resonated with you, if you've been sitting with your own doubts about coaching and getting some help, but if you're curious, let's explore it together. There's zero obligation, zero investment, just a few minutes of your time. But look in the show notes, apply today, see if coaching might be a good fit for where you're at right now. I'll get your application, I'll personally review it, and honestly, if I think we're a match, I'll reach out to set up that conversation. It is not about selling you on coaching, but it is more about helping you discover if this is the right move for you right now. So again, you can find that application in the show notes or head to my website, markwalkercoach.com. That's MARK walkercoach.com. And so if you're ready to stop sitting on the fence and start exploring what extraordinary might look like in your own life, please apply today. I'd really love to connect with you and find out if we're a fit. Thank you for taking the time to listen to Fierce Encouragement today. Wherever you're at, I hope you're having a good day, a good morning, a good evening, and I hope that you can fiercely encourage yourself today, work through that doubt, and have an awesome day. Take care of yourself. Look forward to catching you on the next episode. Bye-bye now.